shout out to everybody. Your boy is back. I do want to say this though, little bit of drama going on here. As far as everything else, I did a reaction to Cassidy dissing Eazy the Block Captain, talked about Eazy's response. I'm kind of off of it. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of don't want to talk about that no more until we can get the battle. I'm kind of off of it. Eazy talking about he don't want to like go back and forth, or he's not gonna, what did he say? He said he's not gonna respond to him. So it's like, you know, he kind of annoyed that he don't be wanting to respond, but then at the same time, it's just like, he probably just want to get a second half of the battle. You know what I mean? And just be on about his way. You know, the back and forth, the constantly going back and forth. Like, if it's not going to lead to a battle, I mean, what is really the point of doing that? You know, as far as everything else, looks like Cassidy's got a lot of energy to market and promote and troll Eazy. Shout out to Cassidy. I don't know if Cassidy really wants to do the battle. You know, I haven't talked to him about nothing like that. It doesn't seem like he wants to, you know, so I don't know, you know, just from what I've been seeing online and everything, but them going back and forth on wax, it will be entertaining, you know, but if it's not going to lead to a battle, gang, like, it's just, I mean, it's cool. You know, we get some form of entertainment, but if it's not going to lead to a battle, TBO, y'all really need to say something. If y'all not going to say nothing about this, it seems like the battle's not going to happen. Y'all taking somebody to court, like, what's the deal? You know what I mean? The battle ain't going to happen. Y'all just being quiet about it. Chilla Jones knows how this works. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of just being quiet. And I get it to an extent. Y'all probably don't want to say anything because you don't want to make whatever artist upset. But both of these artists are throwing y'all under the bus. You know what I mean? So it's like Cassie was talking reckless about y'all on the restore order. Eazy's been talking reckless about y'all. So it's like, I mean, just say what it is. If the battle's not going to happen, the battle's not going to happen. I think the culture is at a point now we understand, like, somebody's being a diva, but we need to know who's doing that. You know what I'm saying? Or preventing the battle from happening. You know, so is Eazy really trying to make the battle happen? Or is Cassidy trying to make the battle happen? Let us know. If not, just, you know, it is what, drop the one round and be done with the battle. It is what it is. As far as everything else, I kind of been looking around online. I'm gonna talk about the Hitman and Loaded Lux situation in a minute. I did talk to Murder Mook. Shout out to Murder Mook. Cause you know, I've been doing blogs like, I don't want to see that battle. Him versus Surf, I don't want to see it. You know, and my reasoning behind, I told him, like, you know, my reasoning behind not wanting to see the battle is because I feel like they are way too cool. You know, you always see, I mean, you know, they are somewhat like, you know, coworkers in a sense, right? But and nobody wants to see anybody locked up, but it's like, it's always, I'm hearing like, oh, this is my brother, Surf is my brother, we cool, we talked, and it's just like, it's constant things like that. And it's like, when you get people that cool, like, I don't want to see the battle, bro, because it's like some topics may not be talked about that I feel like need to be talked about, and you don't know if that's going to happen because they super cool, and we know, at least from what people are saying, right? And we don't know if it's true or not. Surf got to come out here and defend himself, but you can put 2 and 2 together, right? Lux is saying that Surf was trying to write the battle with him, like their battle. You got John the Don saying that on stage, like, Surf, swear to God, you weren't trying to write this battle with me. You got Adi Boom talking about he, you know, gave Surf bars. You got, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I watched Tay-Rock versus Surf. You kind of see them mouthing each other's words, and it's like, you know, is this a situation where Surf is going to be super cool with Mook to where the battle is going to be controlled? I don't want to see it. You know what I mean? But I did talk to Mook. Mook called me, and he was just like, he called me a few times, and I'm like, I'm not answering this. Shout out to Mook. But then I ended up talking to him, right? And he was just like, yo, what, like, you know, why do you think that, you know, I would allow somebody to control a battle? You know, he was saying, I'm like, man, y'all is real cool. I don't know, bruh. You know, he's just like, this is murder. You think I'm going to allow him to do that? Is what he's saying, you know? And I'm just like, yo, are you going to talk about this? Are you going to talk about that? You know what I mean? A lot of things has been in the news. And he was like, I'm going to talk about everything. You know what I mean? Like, everything. You know, he didn't specify, but he said he's going to, he's going to talk about everything. So I don't know, the way he said it, people can tell you something, right? And it's just, people just try to maybe placate you to get you not to talk about something. But the way he said it, I don't know, man. Seems like he would probably be, open to talking to, about everything with Surf. So I don't know. We'll see, like, if that ends up happening. I think they want to do like Math versus Surf. This is what I think. Either Math versus Rock or Math versus Surf. This is the battle I think what they probably would want to do. What do I think about it? I see the comments of what people were saying. Some people didn't want to see it. They don't understand why. I don't know if these are new fans or what. Like, there's a big history between Tsu Surf and Math Hava. So I don't know why nobody would not want to see it. Other than it depends on what type of battle you want. Do you want like a super energetic, like, dynamic battle? You're going to have certain battlers for that. Do you want somebody to touch on some topics that you don't feel like a lot of people are going to talk about? You might have Math Hoffa for that. You know what I mean? Do you want just a bar fest? Do you want what kind of battle do you want to see? Or do you want like Surf is very, very type A personality. He will get up here and control somebody. You know what I mean? So I don't, I want to see him battle a battler that's not going to be controlled in any way. You know what I mean? So if Mook is not going to allow him to do that, I kind of would want to see that. You know what I'm saying? But if they just too cool, I don't want to see it. And as far as Math Hoffa, I think Math Hoffa, I strongly think that he will say anything and everything to Surf. And I don't think the marketing and promotion would not be there. You know what I mean? Because we've known Math in the past to market and promote. People talk about the Eazy battle, and I kind of did want to see that, but I do and I don't, right? And I don't, I say what I wanted to say on my opinion. But the reason why I do want to say it is because I do feel like Eazy would probably touch on a little bit of what's going on with Surf, right? I think he would a little bit, you know what I mean? But I don't know if Surf goes full bore, right? He goes crazy with marketing and promotion. I don't know if Eazy can handle that. Maybe he'll say he can't. I don't know. I don't know. Because we've seen him and this whole Cassidy back and forth. It was so long before he responded. So I don't want a battle to get booked and that to happen again, or even like you see Cassie going at him again and he's like, I ain't gonna say nothing about it, so I don't know. I think if you're gonna put Surf up against somebody, it's got to be somebody crazy dynamic, you know what I mean, that's gonna be able to go back and forth with him like in the media and stuff like that and be able to have access to different channels and stuff to be able to go back and forth with him and not just be quiet, you know what I mean, when Surf starts really turning it up. You know what I'm saying? So that's my opinion. Probably, I don't know. I'm leaning towards Math. I know y'all, I see the comments, I'm leaning towards Math. Either him or Mook. Mook said he's not going to do battle Surf the first battle out. He said that a while ago, but then we seen his live. He kind of seems like he's a little bit more interested in it. I talked to him on the phone. I didn't get any indication that he wants to wait, so I don't know, so I would say maybe Mook and Surf, because we seen Mook go back and forth with Hitman Holla and not be afraid to do that. You know what I mean? So I don't know, probably him or Math Hoffa is my opinion. Now, I seen Hitman Holla, he went live, right? And he was going in on Loaded Lux. So Loaded Lux did an interview with Polo, right? From Black Compass Media. Shout out to Polo, right? And it gets to a point and Polo is asking Loaded Lux, like, what does he think about like a Hitman battle? And Lux is saying that he feels like Hitman is ducking him. Like he didn't want to battle him. And I will never forget that because I'm on the phone with Lux, you know what I'm saying, while he's going back and forth with Hitman, like on Twitter, and I'm like, we trying to fit, and we see the fans is saying, right, that they want to see Rum Nitty versus Lux. They don't want to see Loaded Lux versus Hitman. They want to see Rum Nitty versus Hitman. Rum Nitty versus Lux, right? And so we like trying to figure out like what, because I know like as media, like a Lux and a Hitman battle is big. You know what I mean? I didn't feel like Rum Nitty was going to market it and promote. You know what I mean? I didn't think he was going to do that. But I know the fans rocked with him heavy. You know, so a lot of people were going to want to see it regardless. But Lux knew the fans wanted to see Rum Nitty versus Loaded Lux, you know, but we knew the box office situation would have been Loaded Lux versus Hitman Holla. So, you know, Lux talks to Polo and he's basically saying Hitman is ducking. He was ducking. And I remember distinctly, right? A lot of people were on Hitman Holla's heels, right? They were like mad at him. They're like, yo, why are you inserting yourself into this? Like, we want to see Rum Nitty versus Lux. Like, what is you doing? Like, they did that so many times to where he just said, and you got to think, Rum Nitty had no energy for Loaded Lux around that time. You know what I mean? At least what it looked like, you know, media-wise, he didn't have like any energy for him, you know? So when Hitman Holla start lighting up and talking, it was a whole lot of energy, and the fans was trying to put it out. Like, nah, we want to see Rum Nitty. Like, nah, you trying to let's hurt yourself. So Hitman Holla goes ahead and he says, all right, y'all want to see Rum Nitty versus Lux? I'm cool, right? He backs off of the battle. And me and Lux is still talking, and Lux is like, yo, what is going on? Like, this is box office here. You know, what are people thinking with this? You know what I mean? Like, this is the battle that needs to happen. I was completely with Lux on that, right? But Hitman Holla, he backs off because this is what the fans wanted, right? And then we had the Loaded Lux versus Rum Nitty battle. Now, after Lux says this, right, maybe like 20 seconds later, he's talking to Polo. And Polo was just like, you know, he's asked him about it again or whatever. And he was just like, yo, I'm not against what the fans want. Like, if the fans want us to do the battle, like, I'm not against that, right? You know what I mean? The energy of the fans or whatever, like, whatever they want, I'm willing to do. But that was what Hitman was kind of saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Not to, you know, be super defending like Hitman, but this is what he was saying. Like, the fans wanted to see Rum Nitty versus Lux. He backs up. You know what I mean? And he's cool with just letting the fans, you know, have what they want. You know what I mean? It's what it is. And so Lux is saying like he would do what the fans want, but that's what Hitman was doing. So was Hitman really ducking the battle? I don't really think so. You know, unless I'm missing something. Let me know in the comment section below. Is your boy missing something? I don't know. But I think Hitman just didn't want to do the battle because the fans didn't want him to battle. I don't think it was a ducking situation. I think he was ready. You know, as far as everything else, ducking. If we're talking about that, Hitman kind of was getting on Loaded Lux on his live, right? And he was just like ducking battles. Like, I'm not afforded the opportunities that a Lux or any of these type of people are afforded, right? Like, when people want me to do battles, I do the battle, whether or not it's a, you know, male versus female battle or it's whatever. If the fans want me to do the battle, I'm going to do the battle. If it's ill will, if it's whatever, like, I'm going to do the battle. And if you look at his track record, you can't really say he's lying, right? I didn't want to see Hitman Holla versus Miss Hustle. I didn't want to see that. Did y'all want to see it? Let me know in the comment section. I didn't want to see that. You know what I mean? And I don't know if Hitman wanted to really do that battle, because I think him and Miss Hustle talked about it a while ago, but then I think he may have got mad at her about something, at least she was putting out there, and then the battle didn't happen, you know, but he ended up doing the battle anyway because to, you know, give her an opportunity. But he's saying like some of these battlers won't battle like female artists, right? Like, they'll give you an excuse like, well, I don't want to talk to her like that or whatever, or talk to a girl like that or whatever. And then they'll completely pass on it. Whereas like Hitman, he took the battle, you know? So I don't know. He also talk about ducking battles like JC. Why didn't you ever battle JC? I thought that was a really good point, right? Because him versus Geechee, I wasn't crazy about Hitman Holla versus Geechee Gotti. Fans wanted to see that. You know, and I can't remember what the win-loss ratio was before Geechee did the battle with Hitman Holla, but the fans wanted to see it. He did the battle, right? And so, but there was many a times where the fans wanted to see a JC versus Loaded Lux, and Lux, you didn't want to do the battle. You know what I mean? Like, either could it have been you going off the momentum of the fans? The fans didn't really care. There was points in time where JC lost battles, but you know what I mean? They still wanted to see you battle him, right? Or when he was calling out Surf, Surf took the battle anyway. You know what I mean? Like, even though JC, I'm not sure what his record was like at the time. I think he was doing all right, you know, but it wasn't like a cry for people to want to see like Surf versus JC. It was just Surf was like, all right, it's time, let's do it. You know, it's just he listened to the fans. Whereas, like, I don't feel like Lux, you like Hitman is making a compelling point. I don't think you do that. You know, or like with the you versus Averb, right? You and Averb went back and forth. And I think like the back and forth with y'all, like the face off, whatever, they're like 1 million views or something crazy, right? And it was still a minute before you wanted to battle like Averb. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, does he really move off of what the fans want, or is it something else? You know, so I don't know. I think Hitman is making a very compelling argument with that. When he went live, I thought he was just gonna like go live, just yell or whatever. I mean, he was doing a lot of that, but he made a lot of good points. You know, so I don't know, Matt. What do y'all think about Loaded Lux versus Hitman Holla now? What do you think, right? And he's saying that the fans are trying to say he's like on a 4-battle losing streak. You know, he don't understand like how they're looking at him as being on a 4-battle losing streak. It depends on how you look at it. Me personally, I think he got the Gotti battle. I think he beat Geechee Gotti. Maybe I gotta watch it again. I thought he beat Miss Hustle. I thought he beat her. I thought he lost to Eazy. I thought he lost to Mook, right? The loss to Mook, I don't think Hitman was bad in that battle. I just think he lost. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing like when you lose every round and you're like bad, and then like you lose but you're all right. I didn't think Hitman was bad. I didn't think he was bad to where I don't want to see him battle again. You know what I mean? I thought he did all right. It's Mook. Like, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you know, when Lux went to California and he battled Geechee, he got 30. Like, he didn't win that battle. He got 30. But it's like he could still pick and choose whatever battle he wants, like after that. So I don't know. Like, how do y'all gauge this? But he did have a really good battle with Rum Nitty. His second round was crazy. He beat New Jersey Twerk. You know, that was clear. You know, so I mean, he does like his last couple battles, he did win. You know, so he can kind of like somewhat gauge like what he wants to do. But I mean, is it time for the Hitman Holla versus Loaded Lux, or is it not? You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. Shout out to both of them. I wouldn't be mad at it. I would, honestly, it would be better, right? If Lux, you know, he has the 2 wins. He's got the Rum Nitty. He's got the Twerk battle. If Hitman did a battle and then he won the battle clear, you know what I mean? Then it would kind of probably make a little bit more sense to people to be like, all right, you're like, yeah, well, let's do it now. But after coming off of a 3-0 loss to Mook, it would be a little bit more difficult to get the momentum for a battle. A lot of people would think, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of people lose battles and get like a better battle, you know? So I'm curious to see what y'all think in the comment section. I think it would be box office. You know, this year, I think they could probably do something to make it happen. You know, it probably wouldn't happen on URL, you know, but I don't know, like maybe TBL or something. Like, I mean, they got money. They could make it happen. I mean, they booked Cassidy, you know, the battle they're having for whatever reason, but they had enough money to book that. They could probably book a Loaded Lux versus Hitman Holla. I don't think they can't do it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Is this something y'all want to see or no? Also, who do you feel like Surf's next battle should be? Like coming out of jail, you know what I mean? Let me know down in the comment section. Shout out to Kid Slade. I see Kid Slade. He has a podcast. You know, he's talking about a lot of things. Him and Verb are going back and forth now. So I don't know if a battle can potentially come out of that. But, you know, shout out to him. But y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. Peace.